Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be ranking the Doctor Who series of modern era Doctor Who. So, first things first, this is entirely my opinion. Your ranking is not going to line up with mine. I know that for a fact. And, also, I'm not including the Day of Tenant specials in this list just because it's pretty hard for me to rank those with all the other full seasons of episodes. That's just a hard thing for me to do, so I'm just not going to do it because it makes this video a whole lot easier for me. And yeah, spoiler warning inbound, biggest thing of all, spoilers for the whole show. If you haven't seen the whole show, then don't watch this because I might mention things and I'm not going to censor myself at all. So, with all that established, let's get started by ranking 11 series of modern Doctor Who. Series 8 is sadly my least favorite, and that's a shame because I love Peter Capaldi's Doctor, but I didn't love him yet, and I think Jenna Coleman's really good in this, and the finale for me has some really good parts, but also some weaker elements, and this series has some great stories, such as Listen and Mummy on the Orient Express, but it's got a lot of weaker ones, like The Caretaker, like Kill the Moon, like In the Forest of the Night, like Robots of Sherwood, and there's just a bunch here that just don't work for me, and on the whole, the stuff with Danny Pink isn't great, and the kind of soap opera elements don't totally work for me all the time, and while this is a good series of Doctor Who, I don't personally find it to be a great one. It's pretty good, but it could be better. Series 7 comes in pretty low, and the truth is, this season is a little bit hard to rank, and the first thing I want to say is that with Series 7, I do include the last two specials, The Time of the Doctor and The Day of the Doctor, because for me, those were a part of the season. They were a part of that story that it was telling, and I include them in this ranking. But Series 7, there's just lots of weaker episodes in there. There's lots of episodes that just feel like, well, you could have done better. And it does have some solid episodes, but on the whole, it's just only got a handful of episodes that really stand out to me, and there's just not enough there. It's a little bit disjointed because the companions switch halfway through, and that's a shame. And like I said, it's got some good stuff. It just doesn't totally come together just because it's got a number of weaker episodes and not particularly many strong ones. But with that being said, there are the companions are great in here. Amy Pond and Rory Williams, and the Doctor is great as always. Matt Smith is always great. That will never be questioned. So, and Jenna Coleman was great too, but at the end of the day, it comes in pretty low. The first thing I want to say is that Series 11 is not a bad series of Doctor Who. It's a really solid series, and I do not want to put it this low on the list, but this is just where it comes in for me. Most of the episodes in this are solid, and there are some great episodes in here. You've got Demons of the Punjab, which I think is great. You've got Resolution, which I think is great. Kerblam, which I think is great. Rosa, which is great. And It Takes You Away, which is fantastic. And then, you've got some solid episodes in there. The Woman Who Fell to Earth, The Ghost Monument, and so forth. And then you got some weaker episodes like The Witchfinders and the one with the Pating. I can't remember off the top of my head. This Ring Conundrum. And on the whole, it just doesn't have enough to bring it over the top. Lots of these seasons have several great episodes, and this one just doesn't have as many as those ones. So I don't want to put it this low. In fact, I really like how this season brought a freshness to Doctor Who, and it made the vibe of the season so different, and it made it feel really new. But at the end of the day, it doesn't come very high because it doesn't have enough great episodes for me. I know Series 10 is kind of a favorite for Capaldi fans. People love Series 10, and it's a great series. Don't get me wrong. This has a fantastic finale. I'm a big fan of Twice Upon a Time. I really like Oxygen. That's a solid episode. I like the opener, the pilot. I really like Extremis. But then you've got some weaker episodes like Knock Knock and The Return of Dr. Mysterio, and The Empress of Mars wasn't the best, neither was The Eaters of Light. And there were other episodes in there that I enjoyed, like Smile and Thin Ice. But on the whole, it's just got a number of episodes that just kind of don't feel like they're as good as they could be. And it does have some great stuff in there, and Bill's a fantastic companion, and Capaldi is at his absolute best, and Missy is really good, and I like stuff with Emma Nardle's good. But at the end of the day, it's just lacking the stuff that really makes the best seasons of Doctor Who for me. And this is a great one, and I love Capaldi. He's one of my absolute favorite doctors. But sadly, this comes in pretty low in the ranking. Series 6. Series 6 was another strong season for the 11th Doctor. Amy Pond, River Song, Rory Williams, and Eleven in the TARDIS. Absolutely fantastic. I know people are not a fan of the story arc, but I have to admit that I have a soft spot for it. It's got weaker parts to it. I used to be a bit, when I was younger, I used to like Let's Kill Hitler, but at this point, I do still enjoy that story, but it just doesn't totally gel together. There's plenty of things that don't work with it, but I have to admit, I have a soft spot for The Wedding River Song. I think it's a solid finale, and I love A Good Man Goes to War, and there's some great episodes in here, and it's got the Doctor's wife, and the 2-part opener with The Silence is fantastic, and there's just some really, really great episodes in here, and lots of solid ones too. And at the end of the day, this one, and I know I've said that a lot at the end of the day, but this one, it just feels really strong, and it's got lots that works for it, and the companion dynamics really help to elevate this one. It's like piggybacking off of Series 5. It's great. Oh, there was a time when Series 2 would have been way higher on my ranking. It would have been right at the top. But it's softened for me. And the things that I loved about this, I still love about this. Rose and 10 are fantastic. I would say they are as good as Rose and 9. In fact, I don't know which of those two I prefer. There's some great episodes in here. Girl in the Fireplace is one of my favorites. Doomsday, one of my favorites. The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, absolutely fantastic. There's just some great, fantastic episodes. But then there's some weaker ones. You've got The Idiot's Lantern, which is okay. You've got Fear Her, which is pretty bad. You've got Love and Monsters, which is my least favorite episode. And because of these weaker elements, it just bogs it down for me. But this is a great season, so much great stuff, and I just wish I could put it higher, but sadly I can't. Series 1 used to be way lower. It used to be second to lowest in my ranking, but I rewatched it recently, and it's better than I gave it credit for. This season has 9 and Rose, and they are fantastic together. It has John Barrowman as Jack for a handful of episodes, and he is just one of the best characters of all time on Doctor Who. The finale is brilliant, emotional, heartfelt, fantastic way to wrap up the season. Dalek is a fantastic episode. Father's Day is really good. The first 3 episodes are really good. For me, the least favorite episode is actually the 2-parter with the Slitheen, and then the long game is, I find, relatively enjoyable. But what I found rewatching this is just that Rose and 9 are great together, and that on the whole, every episode is solid except for a couple, and this one, it was just better than I gave it credit for, and I wish I had kind of recognized that sooner, but I'm glad I finally found out that this season is really a solid series of Doctor Who, and Series 1, it deserves the love that it gets, even though I don't love it as much as some people. Series 5, this is where it's at. Everything is top notch. Stephen Moffat's first season, he's on the top of his game. He's doing everything right. So many fantastic episodes. The 11th hour, that's a brilliant episode, a brilliant way to introduce a new Doctor. Easily the best post-regeneration story of all time, unless you're counting, Journey's End, but, you know. Fantastic way to introduce a Doctor. The companions are brilliant. Amy Pond is fantastic. The cracks in time are really well utilized. I love the 2-parter with the Angels. I love Vincent and the Doctor. I love the finale. And there's the rest of it is basically just solid. The weakest episode for me is A Victory of the Daleks. But every other episode I at least enjoy, and a good amount usually. So yeah, this is just a really solid episode. Everything's working really well. The Doctor, the companions, everything's so much fun. It's got a new fresh feel to it, and I love everything with Tennant, but this made it feel new and awesome and just absolutely great, and it's some of the best Doctor Who that there is out there. Series 3 is such an underrated series. I used to have it pretty low on my ranking, but man, is there some good stuff in here. I mean, just breaking it down, I really like the Christmas special that it has with Catherine Tate. I know some people don't, but I'm quite a big fan of that. I like Smith and Jones a lot. I really love the finale with John Sims Master. I think John Sims Master is fantastic. And I love, Utopia is just such a brilliant episode, and so is the rest of that 3-parter. And I love Blink, one of my absolute favorites of all time. And, of course, the 2-parter with the Family of Blood is fantastic. The weakest spot for me is the Dalek 2-parter, which I just don't enjoy. And the Lazarus Experiment as well. So it's got a couple in there that are stinkers, but it's got so much in it that works so well. And I adore this series, and Martha is great. And she is a great companion, and it is a shame that she did get sidelined kind of by the Doctor, but it totally fits within the story that they were telling, and I totally bought it. And this is just a fantastic series, and Jack is back, and he's great, and I love it. Okay, Series 9. So, this series is so underrated. It is one of the most underrated series, nay, the most underrated series, I would say. Series 9 is brilliant, and I won't have anything else. It's so fantastic. There's so much that's good in this one. Oh my goodness, where to start? So first off, we have Last Christmas, which I think is one of the best Christmas specials. Then we've got the two-parter with Davros, which I think is really good, and Missy's utilized really well, and I like the stuff with her and Clara, and that's all done really well. And then we got a two-parter, Under the Lake Before the Flood. Fantastic two-parter, really, really good stuff. And then we've got the 2 episodes with Maisie Williams, which are pretty underrated, I must say. The first one's better than the second one, and the second one, the tail end of that, isn't so great. But there's some really good stuff in there, and I know people like to say that she's a ripoff of Captain Jack, like they'd already done that stuff, but they really hadn't. They had done some stuff with Jack, and how he ages, and the stuff with that, but they did way more of it with Maisie Williams' character, Shilda, or Me, and they did stuff that they hadn't done before with her and her library, and it's really fantastic, and honestly, it's just so well done, and I love that stuff. And moving on from there, oh my goodness, we have the Zygon two-parter, which I think is really great, really solid stuff, very engaging. That was one of my favorites when it came out. Still a really good one. Sleep No More, worst episode on here. It's okay. I've only seen it once. I didn't enjoy it, but like I said, only seen it once when it came out, and I did not enjoy it, and I haven't seen it since, but eventually I'll rewatch it, I'm sure. Heaven Sent, Face the Raven, Hellbent. What a way to end that season with those 3, what I would say are fantastic episodes. Really, really end the season on an absolute high, and I love everything done with Clara. It's so fantastic. And also, this includes the Husbands of Riversong, which is a really enjoyable Christmas special and a really lovely way to end Riversong's story. And 12 is fantastic in this one, and I love the journey that he has with Clara and the way that she makes him a better person. It's all really well handled. I love this series of Doctor Who. Super underrated. I hate that this one gets as much hate as it does because it's absolutely brilliant. Series 4. Now, this didn't used to be my favorite, but just looking at the sheer number of fantastic episodes in this one, really breaking everything down for this ranking, this one has to be number 1. It's so fantastic. We open up with Voyage of the Damned, which is a fantastic Christmas special, one of the better ones, I would say. Then we have Partners in Crime, which is a really enjoyable episode, and so is the Pompeii episode, The Fires of Pompeii. And another solid episode in... What was the one after that? Now my brain is leaving me. But the best episodes in here are Silence in the Library and Force of the Dead. Absolutely fantastic episodes. Some of the best that Moffat has ever written. So brilliant. And I love Midnight. It's a great episode. I love that one every single time I see it. It just gets better and better. And I also adore the finale, Stolen Earth and Journeys. And it's just great television is what it is. And then we've got more episodes in here. Doctor's Daughter is the weakest one for me. It's enjoyable, but it doesn't totally gel well. And then I'm forgetting episodes. The Sontaran two-parter, I actually haven't seen in a long time, but I do enjoy that one. And I feel like there's like 1 or 2 episodes that I just can't... Oh, okay, I didn't used to enjoy The Unicorn and the Wasp, but now I do. Rewatching it a couple times recently. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's just fun. That's what it is. And the first time I saw it, I didn't like it because, well, it's just... You know, it was just kind of doing its thing, and it didn't have good CGI and whatever. But then rewatching it, I found that it was just so much fun that I just adored it. And there's like 1 more episode in here that for some reason is escaping me, I feel. But that's fine. Series 4 is fantastic. Dawn is a fantastic companion. And the 10th Doctor is one of my absolute favorites. He's brilliant in this role. Everything works really well in here. I love this series of Doctor Who to death. It's absolutely fantastic. And couldn't ask for a better series, really. And like I said, I used to be able to put Series 9 ahead of it, but now this one is my favorite. It's brilliant, fantastic. It's the best Doctor Who has to offer, but you already knew that. So that's it, really. That's the ranking of all 11 series of Doctor Who. Did your ranking align with mine? I'm sure that it didn't, so feel free to drop your ranking down below. We're not going to agree, and that is totally cool. I would just love to know what you think which kinds of seasons go where. It's really interesting to look at different people's ranking and see which kinds of Doctors go in which kinds of places, because like for me, Capaldi is one of my favorites, but series 8 and 10 are relatively low on the list, but 9 is at the absolute top, you know? It's just kind of interesting for me, so I would absolutely adore to see your rankings. And yeah, that's going to do it for now, folks. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to stick around. I've got lots of Doctor Who videos. I should have a Mission to the Unknown review from the recent recreation that they did, a Joker review recently, Game of Thrones videos, tons of Doctor Who videos, ranking videos, classic videos, Big Finish reviews, all sorts of stuff if you're interested in checking that out. If not, that's totally cool. I just appreciate your time here today. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. Take care and have a lovely week.